Kondosan.
It was a very cold and snowy New Year's Eve. Everyone on the street was in a rush to get somewhere. Some to their families and some to their warm homes. They were all wearing thick coats with scarves and gloves to stay warm in the freezing weather. On the corner of a street there was a little girl. Her dress was tattered and she was not wearing a coat, a scarf or gloves. In this bitter cold weather, the girl was shivering, taking little steps, trying to walk in the unsuitable slippers she had on. She was shy and somewhat thin, but still very beautiful. She carried a vending tray with a strap around her neck with many matchboxes in it. She was the match girl that always tried to sell matches on the street. On that freezing snowy night, while the little girl was struggling to walk, her slippers suddenly tore. She started crying and her tears blended with the snow.
What am I gonna do now? How am I gonna manage walking barefoot in the snow now?
Hopeless, she continued walking. She was now a barefooted match girl. She couldn't go home without having sold any matches.
I have matches! Matches! Would you like to buy some?
She sought shelter in a corner, sitting on the ground with her feet under her dress.
Doesn't anyone want to buy matches?
Her voice was barely audible, and she still hadn't sold a single matchbox.
Dear God, please let me sell these. I need to bring money to buy soup for Mother and medicine for Grandma.
The wind blew snow that covered her hair and got into her eyes. She was now freezing in that corner.
I have some matches.
There were only a few people passing by because it was really late. The match girl continued to shout, but her voice was weak.
Matches! I have some matches! Matches!
Her frozen fingers started to hurt.
If I could warm up a little bit, maybe I can stay a little longer. I'll light a match to warm up.
Her cold hands were not even able to hold the matchbox. She managed to light up a match. The small flame coming from the match was so warm that it felt really nice in her frozen fingers. She felt better having the warmth of that small flame. She closed her eyes and started dreaming.
Now I'm in a warm room. I'm warming up my hands and feet next to a stove. I also have a nice thick shawl over my shoulders.
The little flame coming from the match had made her dream. But when the flame from the match was put out, she was cold again. So she immediately lit another match. She thought that this was a good game to play. This time, she dreamed that it was a nice spring day and she was lying over daisies and making a crown out of them. The sun was so bright in the sky, warming her.
Let me gather some more to take home.
When she saw herself gathering daisies, the match was out again. She then lit another one, and one more, and one more. There was no limit to beautiful dreams.
And now I see a wonderful dinner table in front of me with so many different types of food. Oh, I'm so hungry. First I'll have some soup, some chicken too, and chocolate. Oh, and there's some bread too.
She was both dreaming and pretending as if she was eating the food. She had lit so many matches, and the snow had finally stopped falling. The stars in the sky shone brightly. She looked up, and a shooting star crossed over the sky. So she made a wish, as her grandmother had told her. If you ever see a shooting star, your wish will come true.
Dear God, may all my wishes come true.
Snuggled well in the corner, she fell asleep. But actually, her body had froze. The match girl opened her eyes in a warm and soft bed. The stove was burning.
Good morning, little girl. How are you?
A sweet old lady was looking at her from across, so she straightened up and sat in the bed.
Good morning. Am I dreaming? Is this real? Who are you? Where am I?
I saw you around the corner last night when I was driving home. A woman was crying next to you. So I went up to her and she told me she was your mother. Then we came together to my house.
My mother? Oh, I guess she got worried and came looking for me since it was very late.
We brought you here to my house. Your little body had frozen. I had to call a doctor in. Thank goodness I was not too late.
Thank you so much, madam. But where's my mother?
I have a wonderful surprise for you. Your mother and grandmother will be here in a little while.
Oh my, I'm so happy.
Me too, little girl. My house is so big and I'm really lonely. I talked it over with your mother. You will live with me from now on. Your mother will help me with the housework, and your grandmother and I will be friends and spend some time together.
Grandma was right. The wishes we make when we see a shooting star do come true.
You're a very good girl. Last night you struggled and went through a difficult time in order to bring some money home. You didn't give up. People should persevere in the face of difficulties and always be hopeful.
Grandma always says that life is full of surprises.
Of course, you will start school right away. You deserve to be happy.
I guess there are still very nice people in this world.
After that day, the match girl was never ever cold and lived a happy life.
Ouch, 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 don't hit me, I'm sick and tired of these goats hitting my head. Come on, download our game and show how fast you are.
Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Dorothy who lived with her Uncle Henry and Auntie Em in Kansas. Their house was very small. They lived together in a cottage in the countryside. Dorothy loved to run and play in the fields with her dog Coco. One day, as she was playing outside, the sky darkened and a storm began to brew. In a panic, her aunt and uncle started closing the windows while calling out to Dorothy.
Dorothy, quick, to the shelter!
Hurry! A tornado is approaching!
Dorothy and Coco ran home. But just before they reached the shelter, the tornado started spinning and spinning the little cottage and blew it away from its foundations. Coco and Dorothy were whirling with the house. Dorothy held on to her little dog tightly, waiting for the tornado to end.
Oh, don't be scared, Coco. It'll be over soon.
Finally, the house landed somewhere with a big thud. After the storm, when everything had calmed down, Dorothy and Coco got out of the house. They couldn't believe their eyes. They were in a totally different place. Everywhere was filled with sparkling and colourful flowers. Suddenly, several tiny fairies rushed out from among the flowers and greeted them. In front of them all was the Fairy Queen.
Welcome, Dorothy. I'm the Good Fairy of the North. I've come here with my protective fairies to congratulate you. Hello, Queen of the Fairies. I'm very pleased to meet you, but I don't understand why you are congratulating me. With the great tornado that brought your house here with you, you blew the Wicked Witch of the West far, far away. You saved the country from a huge danger. Oh, really? Thank you very much, Madame. At least there was a benefit to my house blowing away. Look here, Dorothy. These are the shoes that the Wicked Witch of the West has always wanted. She had just gotten a hold of them, but she must have dropped them as she flew away. Wear these shoes right away. You will need them in the future.
Not understanding why, Dorothy took off her shoes and wore the new pair right away.
My dear fairy, how will I return home? Can you help me, please? I'm sorry, but only the Wizard of Oz can help you, Dorothy. You must go to the city where he lives. For this, you must follow this path that you see and go straight past the forest. Once you arrive to the city, you will see the palace before you. Goodbye.
Suddenly, all the fairies lit up brightly and flew away. Dorothy and Coco started walking down the path that the fairies had mentioned. Not before long, they arrived at a field. It was a golden field of wheat. Suddenly, they heard a sound.
Hey, beautiful girl, please help me.
Dorothy turned and looked behind her. There was a scarecrow standing and waiting there. He was tied to a post trying to free himself. Upon seeing the talking scarecrow, Dorothy ran right up to him surprised.
Please save me from this post. I want to be free. If only I had a brain, maybe I would find a way to escape.
We're going to the Wizard of Oz to ask him to help us get home. If you join me and Coco, maybe you can ask him for a brain.
That's a wonderful idea. Of course I'd love to. Go on then, me from this post so we can continue on our way.
Dorothy saved the scarecrow from the post at once. Now the three of them started their journey together. Finally, they arrived at the forest. Propped up against a tree by the side of the road, they saw a tin man. He was busy oiling his screws and was whistling away.
Hello, little girl and friends. Where are you headed?
Dorothy told him everything that had happened.
Let me come with you. Maybe he'll give me a heart.
Why not? Of course you can come.
Together, they walked a long way. It was getting very dark. It became pitch black. Dorothy noticed a pair of glowing eyes behind a tree. Who are you? Come out!
Be careful, Dorothy. What are you doing? What if it's a monster?
It's not. Don't worry. Hey, you! Come out, I said! All of a sudden, a lion slowly came out from behind the tree. He was trembling with fear. He was very fearful.
Hello? Please don't hurt me. I'm a very good lion and I'm very scared. I have no self-confidence at all.
Dorothy was very sad to see the lion like this. They took him with them to see the Wizard of Oz. I hope you'll be able to find what you're looking for there as well, Mr. Lion. A few hours later, they reached the city and asked for directions to the palace of the Wizard of Oz. Once they walked past the city gates, they realized that they had arrived somewhere incredibly beautiful. The city was surrounded with bright lights and wonderful flowers. Birds happily chirping could be heard everywhere. Together, they approached the guards of the palace. We've come to see the Wizard of Oz. Can you please let him know? Suddenly, the doors of the palace opened, and with the guards they appeared before the wizard. The Wizard of Oz was a lovely old man sitting on a magnificent throne in a very fancy outfit.
Why do you want to see me?
Dorothy explained everything that had happened. The old wizard was a kind-hearted man. He was very sad for the little girl.
Actually, I can grant all of your wishes. However, the Wicked Witch of the West holds a wand. This wand is magical and incredibly powerful. It breaks all the spells that I cast. First, you must get this wand back.
You should have sent your soldiers. Maybe you could have gotten it back.
She knows my soldiers very well. She sends them back from halfway when she sees them approaching.
Since she doesn't know us, we should try our luck and maybe we will succeed.
You are very brave, Dorothy. There's nothing else I can do other than wish you luck. I'll await your good news.
That night, the Wizard of Oz invited them to stay as his guests in the palace. The next morning, the four friends set off together. As they approached the castle, the Wicked Witch of the West was shocked at what she saw.
Who are they? A scarecrow, a tin man, and a Lion King, and a very beautiful girl.
Because she didn't know who they were and why they were coming to her castle, she sent 4 of her witch soldiers to capture them immediately.
Soldiers, arrest those who are approaching and lock them in the dungeon at once. Let's see why they are visiting me.
The 4 witches flew down, captured the 4 friends, and locked them in the dungeon.
No! What are they going to do to us? They're going to cut us and eat us for sure. Mummy!
Why have they locked up us here?
Frightened, they waited as the Wicked Witch of the West approached them.
Are you Dorothy? You will come with me to the tower. You'll explain to me what it is you want.
The witch held on tightly to her magical wand. Suddenly, she noticed Dorothy's shoes. These were the shoes that she had always wanted, but had accidentally dropped while being blown away by the tornado. She needed to take these shoes from Dorothy one way or another. With the shoes, her magical powers would grow stronger. When they reached the top of the tower, they started to talk.
Tell me, Dorothy, that's your name, isn't it? Why have you come to my castle?
I want to return to my home in Kansas. That's why I've come to you. They said only you could make this happen.
Of course, though I have one condition. You must give me those shoes.
No, I can't. I need them. Even though Dorothy did not know what the shoes were good for, she remembered what the fairy had said. This answer angered the Wicked Witch of the West, and she realized she would not be able to take the shoes just by talking.
So, you're not giving them to me, are you? I know how to take them. Come here, you!
They ran in circles through the tower as Dorothy was being chased. Since the shoes were magical, the witch couldn't catch Dorothy, not even using magic. The Wicked Witch of the West started to get dizzy from all the running around. Suddenly, she lost her balance and fell from the very top of the tower. When she fell to the ground, she turned into a huge black rock. Just before she fell, she dropped her magical wand. Dorothy took the wand immediately and headed to the dungeon to free her friends.
Dorothy, you're here at last. We were worried sick. Where's the witch?
Yes, where's the witch? They're not going to eat us, are they?
Forget the witch for now. We need to take this wand to the Wizard of Oz right away. In no time, they escaped from the castle and headed right to the palace of the wizard. As the Wizard of Oz held the magical wand in his hands, a smile formed on his face.
Finally, all evil has come to an end. This is because of you, Dorothy. Now, let's come to everyone's wishes.
With the magical wand, the wizard granted the Tin Man a heart. The Scarecrow a brain, and the Lion courage. Everyone was filled with joy. The lion kept on roaring away.
Now time for you, Dorothy. Come next to me. Listen to me well. When you tap the shoes that you're wearing on the ground 3 times, all of your wishes will come true. You can finally go home and be reunited with your family.
The friends, who realized that they would now be parting from one another, hugged each other.
Dorothy, because of you I have a brain and can't think. Look, if it weren't for you, I'd be stuck on that post in the field.
Yes, Dorothy. And now I have a heart. I love you.
And because of you, I am now a brave lion. Now let others be afraid of me.
I'm so glad to have met you all. You were great road companions. Thank you so much. Time to go. Come on, Coco. Are you ready to go back home? Dorothy took Coco in her arms and tapped her feet 3 times. She suddenly found herself at home. Uncle Henry and Auntie Em hugged her tightly. She told them everything that had taken place. But now she was home. She could play with Coco in the fields once again. Once upon a time, there lived a king in a faraway land. The king's youngest daughter was very beautiful. Her father loved her very much. On her birthday, he gave her a golden ball as a present.
Thank you very much, Father. I love it. This is strange, though. Last night I dreamed that a very handsome prince gave me the same ball as a present.
The king lovingly caressed his daughter's hair.
Hopefully one day you will get married, my beautiful girl. Who knows? Maybe you will marry the prince in your dream.
The princess took the golden ball and went out to the palace garden to play. She was throwing the ball in the air, but she couldn't catch it. And the ball rolled down into a tall, grassy area near a pond. The princess could not find the ball and started crying.
How careless of me. How could I have lost it? What am I gonna tell Father?
Suddenly, she heard a sound.
Rabbit! Rabbit! Please don't cry. I can't stand it when girls cry. Come here.
What's that? Where's the sound coming from?
A green frog appeared before her. The princess looked at it in amazement. She had never seen a talking frog.
A talking frog? But how?
I'm a very special frog. If you allow me, I would like to help you, my dear princess. I can go into the pond and get your golden ball.
Oh, thank you. My father will surely give you whatever you want in return. Please bring it back to me.
No, I don't want anything from the king. What I want is for us to be friends. Only when you agree to this, I will bring you the ball.
How is that possible? You and me, how can we be friends?
Well, we will eat together, sleep together, stroll in the garden together, play with your golden ball. Oh, and you will also sing for me. I have heard you, and you have a wonderful voice.
The helpless princess had no choice but to accept his offer.
Okay, whatever you want, as long as you bring me my golden ball. If I can only fool him somehow. A little frog can't make me do something I don't want to.
The frog jumped into the water, got the golden ball, and threw it to the princess. The princess caught it, turned around, and started running towards the palace. She didn't want to wait for the frog. The frog stood there, staring as the princess ran. The next day, while the princess was having breakfast with her father, the frog came in hopping from one of the open doors and jumped onto the table.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Good morning, my princess. I hope you're going to keep your promise, beautiful princess. I've come to have breakfast with you.
This frog is talking. What's going on, dear? What promise is this frog talking about?
Yes, Father, he's a talking frog. I was also shocked when I saw him by the pond yesterday. The golden ball you had gifted me fell into the pond. This frog got it out for me.
Indeed, Your Majesty. In return, the princess promised to be my friend. That is why I'm here. Please forgive me.
Then you should keep your word, my dear.
Immediately, another set of dishes was put on the table, and they had breakfast together.
Ugh, disgusting. I feel sick.
The princess felt hopeless as she didn't want to disobey her father. That evening, the frog jumped on the pillow next to her, and they slept together. Of course, the princess couldn't sleep at all. She was trapped in a corner until morning because she didn't want to be near the frog. Days passed. The frog followed the princess wherever she went. The little frog also knew a lot of fairy tales. At night, he would tell tales to the princess. And during the day, while strolling in the garden, he would put the flowers he collected on the princess's hair. After some time, the princess got so used to the frog that she would worry if she didn't see him around. She started falling in love with him. One night, the frog said,
Tonight's your turn to tell me a fairy tale and sing a lullaby. My mother used to sing me lullabies all the time.
The princess took the frog in her hands and started singing a lullaby in her melodious voice. A couple of tears rolled down the frog's eyes. When the princess saw how sad her friend was, she gave him a kiss on the cheek. Suddenly, the frog turned into a handsome young man. The prince got up and told the princess who he really was and what had happened to him.
A wicked witch turned me into a frog. The only way to break the curse was if a beautiful girl kissed me. Thanks to you, the curse has been broken. Princess, will you marry me?
The princess was still in shock, trying to understand what had just happened. She then realized that he was the prince who had gifted her the golden ball in her dream.
I can't believe it. Of course I will. Let's go tell my father.
They immediately went to the king and told him what happened. The king was also shocked, but he was also very happy that his beautiful daughter was going to marry the prince of her dreams. The princess and the prince lived happily ever after.
Ouch, 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 don't hit me, I'm sick and tired of these goats hitting my head. Come on, download our game and show how fast you are.
Hey guys, subscribe to our channel KONDOSAN and watch the most popular fairy tales, cartoons, and nursery rhymes. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications.